Hello, everyone. Happy Friday, or is it?
Yeah.
We're not sure yet. We'll work through it together.
We'll work through it. We're going to talk about it.
First of all, we should have known that we knew that Craig being on vacation news would happen. We should have known it was Shane Doan news because Craig was also on vacation when Doan was not re-signed with the Coyotes in 2017. But
it was his anniversary because I know he's got his phone on. I kept waiting for because it was kind of a big deal yesterday, the Shane Doan news, and we'll get to that. But I was surprised Craig didn't get involved sooner. But then we find out it's his anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
And he disconnected.
Craig and Tara.
During his anniversary.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah here with Petey and Sean. Let's crack open a cold one. It's Friday. Listen.
Friday.
I always feel like such an afterthought.
Oh my God.
Buddy, there was one more kill.
No. I was talking about that. I was like, I'm here with Petey and Sean. There was a pause there. There was hesitation. Like you forgot about
we didn't get him a beer either, though.
Or that.
Sean's going to leave us for CHGO.
Yeah, watch out. They got Bedard now, so.
For different, if there's a position open.
Oy, oy, oy. All right, well, the big news of the day, obviously, Shane Doan is leaving the Arizona Coyotes and joining the Toronto Maple Leafs front office as special advisor to general manager Brad Treliving. What does this mean? It means he'll assist on day-to-day matters of hockey operations as assigned by the general manager, Petey. First initial thoughts.
Well, there's a lot of things to unwrap here, and we're going to get to a lot of different things. The first thought, when we saw the first tweet of this last week, and it was a rumor at the time, I'm like, gosh, really? Like, really? We had heard that Shane Doan was going to take a step back and spend more time with his family and all of those things we heard. This is an opportunity for Shane Doan that's unbelievable. I'm happy for him. I'm sad for us as an Arizona hockey fan base and people that root for the Coyotes and everything that he has done here. This is good for him. Yeah. So let's embrace this as this is really good news and this is a great opportunity and let's celebrate Shane Doan.
Yeah, this is, for setting our own feelings aside on a career level for him. You look at what he's been up to the past few years. GM for Team Canada most recently at the World Championships. He's been GM and assistant GM at the Spengler Cup. Like, this appears to be the path that he wants to take. Usually when a player retires, they go media, they go coach, they go management, or, not hockey at all. And Shane Doan seemed to be walking the management path. You can see that based on what he's been doing. So for him to get this role with, and I know we have like a thing against the Toronto Maple Leafs here. It's a little mostly in jest, but the Toronto Maple Leafs are the biggest franchise in the National Hockey League. Let's just call a spade a spade. They are the most significant team. So to not only get the opportunity, but to do it with a team like Toronto, how can he turn that down? And what a step for his career.
The reality is, Shane Doan, to your point, he's been building that hockey operations general manager resume for some time. And he had the opportunity to do that with Team Canada. And that all started with his job at the National Hockey League and his ability to advise Gary Bettman. And that's where he got the taste of, gosh, I might want to do this for a living. He wasn't quite ready to retire and he still wanted to be involved. And I think the NHL got him that taste of, hey, I want to wear a suit and tie and go to work every day. Yeah. One of the things he had the luxury of doing here in Arizona was he got the opportunity to go on the ice. And we'd go to the ice den and we watched the team practice, and Shane Doan's on the ice with the team
every single time.
Every day.
Yep.
And I think what that did too is it gave him an opportunity to see what that side of it was like. Yep. What was it like to coach? Do I want to coach? Do I want to get down that path? I think he enjoyed that. I think he liked the day-to-day connection with the players. I think he liked to impart his knowledge and his experience on younger players. But I don't think he had that fire. And if you're going to be a coach, you've got to have that. It's got to be your mindset from the second you walk in, and that's got to be where your desire is. And I don't think that was what he wanted to do. But because of the Arizona Coyotes, he was able to at least go down that path and say, hey, is this something I want to do? So he got to try on a lot of hats here in Arizona. He got that opportunity. And with Team Canada, he got to see, gosh, I really like this. I want to get into hockey operations. And so we're going to spend more time on why and how and why it's not here. Because I know that was what I've heard a lot in the last 24 hours. Well, the organization screwed up and he should be here and it should be with the Coyotes. And I can't believe they're leaving and they're going to close the doors to the franchise. And I think we need to talk through that.
Yeah. And we will, and we will talk through that. But first, I think we should read his statement. And then we can read Alex Meruelo's statement and then get more into the Coyote stuff. So can we read Shane Doan's statement first? And this is it. He said, I would like to thank Alex Meruelo, Javier Gutierrez, and Bill Armstrong for providing me with the opportunity to work in the Coyotes front office for the past 3 seasons. It was an incredible learning experience that prepared me for the next step in my career. It's extremely difficult for me to leave the Coyotes, but the opportunity to work for a storied franchise like the Toronto Maple Leafs was something that I couldn't pass up. The Coyotes will always be very special to me, and I wish Alex and the organization all the best in the future. The Valley will always be my home.
And the big takeaway for this, for me, is the last sentence. The last sentence is, the Valley will always be my home. So Shane is taking a job. His family lives here. His home is here. His son is in the organization that is here. His roots now are here. He's got horses here. He's got things here. The Valley is his home. He's not, he'll have to get a place in Toronto, sadly. And you know how hard that will be.
Yeah.
He will spend a lot of time in Toronto. It's where his job is, but this is where his life and his family is. It doesn't change that. You don't think this changes his legacy in his mind to the Arizona Coyotes? But no. Like, he's still a Coyote and he will still be a Coyote even when he works for another team. There are so many people in different jobs that aren't Shane Doan that either played here, worked here, or moved on from here that still hold a torch to the Arizona Coyotes.
Brad Treliving.
I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I went with the travel guy, the Vegas Golden Knights, Bronco. He said he still thinks of this as home. I mean, so it's Shane Doan is still a Coyote. He will always be a Coyote. He's still the face of this franchise no matter what happens. But, and I know we're going to talk about Meruelo next, remember, and I've seen so many negative things about the owner and Meruelo, specifically regarding the Shane Doan incident. Keep in mind, under the last regime, when it was Barroway and Chaika, Shane Doan was pushed out. Like not off the ice, pushed out.
Yeah.
And completely gone from this organization. And it was Alex Meruelo and this ownership group and this management group that brought Shane Doan back.
Yeah.
Like if Shane Doan wanted to stay in the Valley, he could have continued in the role he was in. And by no means am I saying he should have. It wasn't in the hockey operations, hands getting dirty in the hockey decisions that he wanted. Yeah. So he needed to move on. It's not... There wasn't an assistant GM job open here. There wasn't. I don't understand why everybody's so hateful to it. If there was, and they picked Joe Blow or over Jim Smith over Shane Doan, then you can sound the alarm. Bill Armstrong built his staff with people he knew, he trusted, and he had worked with previously or knew previously that he felt comfortable with and used as sounding boards and advisors. And he had built that before Shane Doan had become a part of this franchise again. We all wish that there was an opportunity for Bill Armstrong and Shane Doan to work and coexist in the hockey management office at the Arizona Coyotes.
And I know you hate the president of hockey operations role, but this would have been a situation where like Shane Doan in that role and Bill Armstrong as GM would have been great.
And that's what you see in these franchises. But That's not the way this hierarchy or this management department was built. And so there was no job for Shane Doan. It didn't fit. Now, if you want to lay some blame on what management and ownership have built, so be it. You can say, well, you should have found a way. But to tell somebody you have to work with this guy just because they were a great player and a great person in this franchise and great for the city, I don't know if that's fair to the management and ownership group here. I think it would have been great to have Shane Doan be a part of this. I think Shane Doan is a knowledgeable hockey person. I think he has shown through Hockey Canada what he's able to do and create winners. And I think he is well respected in the world of hockey. And I think there could have been a home for him here. I'm not management and ownership of the Coyotes. My thought doesn't matter. My opinion doesn't matter. If Bill Armstrong and Meruelo and Javier Gutierrez feel like this isn't a good fit for this organization, they're looking out for the organization first. I can't fault them of that. Shane Doan wants to get in hockey operations and he wants to work in closely with the general manager and learn and take steps to become a general manager. Then I understand him leaving. It's not a big divorce. It's an opportunity for Shane Doan to grow in the center of the hockey universe under one of the most respected men in hockey right now, Brad Treliving.
A man he has a prior relationship with because he was here in Arizona.
He was the assistant general manager here.
Yeah.
And let's go a step farther. If you think that the Toronto Maple Leafs were the only team that was reaching out to get to Shane Doan to be a part of their hockey operations department, you'd be wrong.
Yeah.
There were multiple teams that wanted Shane Doan to be a part of their management and hockey operations department. Unfortunately, the Arizona Coyotes wasn't one of them.
Yeah. So
Shane Doan looks around and goes, okay, I have opportunities. I want to do this. I want to be in management. I want to progress my career and become a general manager someday. This is the path. And guess what? Toronto is on the verge of being a team that can win a Stanley Cup. I can work for Brad Treliving. It is the premier franchise that spends every dollar they can to try to win. I'm going to go. And guess what? If he goes there and they win a Stanley Cup, or he goes there and becomes an integral part of building a winner over the next 2, 3, 4 years, there is nothing that says that Shane Doan can't come back to Arizona, or that there are changes in this management staff, whether Bill Armstrong becomes the director of hockey operations or president of hockey operations, or there's some movement underneath and John Ferguson Jr. moves on to a different role, or David Ludwig moves to a different role, that there might not be an opportunity for Shane Doan somewhere in the future. Now he can go, okay, look what I've done on my resume.
Yeah.
I've got gold medals, I've got a Stanley Cup, or I've got perennial playoffs. And now he's been able to grow in this organization. So I think the future is so bright, and I don't discount the chance that at some time Shane Doan puts a Kachina back on and represents this franchise.
Let us also make one thing very clear. Shane Doan is not leaving the Coyotes because of the arena situation. This is not the beginning of a mass exodus for this franchise. This was simply a job opportunity that he couldn't pass up. You can say whatever you want about there being a lack of a job opportunity here, but the narrative that he's leaving because of the state the franchise is in is absolutely false.
This is of all the things, and I'm going to say this probably more than once in the next half hour. If you hear one thing from this whole show, this has absolutely nothing to do with the vote in Tempe, the state of the franchise, or their lack of a destination in the future right now. Absolutely nothing. This has to do with Shane Doan taking an opportunity to become something better in the world of hockey management. The timing of the vote is so unfortunate for this franchise right now, because outside of our little bubble and in the hockey world, this is, oh my gosh, Shane Doan knows something we don't, and the franchise is leaving and he's getting out while he can. No. Flat no. That is absolutely untrue. This has nothing. In fact, Shane Doan wishes the Tempe vote had gone through, and then he would not have the burden on his shoulders of this discussion. And that is, he wished they had a home to go to, that people weren't have these conversations that they're having now. He wants this organization to succeed. He has put his entire life, his family, everything into this organization. He does not want to see it fail. He does not want to see it move. And that is not what's happening here at all. So put away that this is the end of the franchise. This has nothing to do with the franchise and their future. Nothing to do with Tempe, nothing to do with the arena. Did I make that clear enough?
Yes. We might have to say it again, but
we will say it again.
We'll just clip that whole thing and put it out on Twitter. Let's read Alex Meruelo's statement next. First, well, we'll get to it in a second. This is Alex Meruelo's statement. He said, "We would like to congratulate Shane on his new role with Toronto. He approached us with the desire to explore a new challenge in his career, and we absolutely feel he deserves this opportunity. I would like to thank him for being an advisor to me for the past 3 years and for everything he has done for our hockey operations, coaching staff, business operations, and foundation. We can't thank Shane enough for all his efforts to give back to the Valley community and to grow the game of hockey in Arizona. No one has done more for the Coyotes or the game of hockey in Arizona than Shane. He has been an incredible ambassador for our franchise and has represented the Coyotes with class, dignity, and professionalism. We wish him the best of luck in his new role, and he will always be a part of the Coyotes family." So I saw a comment in our Discord this morning, and I do want to bring this up because it's valid that we haven't heard from Alex Meruelo specifically since May 16th in the vote. And this is now the first time we're hearing from Alex Meruelo. And I understand why that's extremely frustrating to Coyotes fans. Our own diehards wrote an open letter to Meruelo that we published on gophnx.com asking to hear from Alex Meruelo. There's definitely still frustration about the lack of transparency in the plans for an arena, and I totally understand that. So I completely validate the fans' frustrations that this is the first we're hearing from Alex Meruelo since May 16th and that it's about the Shane Doan situation. But I also think it speaks to who Shane Doan is and how important he is to this franchise that we did hear from Alex Meruelo rather than, let's say, Javier Gutierrez on this.
Yeah, I agree. Here's my problem. And it goes back to the timing thing again. We said, as a group here at PHNX, when the vote did not pass in Tempe, the first thing we said, and we said it that night live on the air at the vote, we need to hear from the franchise. And it took some time before we finally heard from Javier. And then the following days, we said, we need to hear from the owner. We need to hear from Mr. Meruelo what the plans are, what the imminent plans are, just to put this fan base, and more importantly, to put the hockey world at ease, that we're not moving to Houston, Salt Lake City, Quebec. He needed to make a statement. I still believe that. I still believe there needed to be a voice from Alex Meruelo Sr. that came out and said, here's our plan. Or we are working on things, and you can leave it open-ended. We're working on things, and we will announce in the very near future this. Or we are committed to Arizona. Literally anything. I think that time was shortly after the vote. Now, because of the Shane Doan situation, now this is his statement. And I think it's unfortunate, but you're right. He had to come in now. So now here's his opportunity. And this is the opportunity for Alex Meruelo Sr. and Javier Gutierrez right now. This is your opportunity. The window is open right now. This is the time to come out with an announcement on we're looking at site A, site B, or we will announce site A in the next 30 days, or we have a plan, we'll let you know when we've signed some documents, or something. Let's give the fans something, because I think the narrative of the last nail in the coffin and the franchise is moving and everything is doom and gloom is partly because there is no plan. If there is a plan, you don't have to tell us the plan, tell us there is a plan.
Yes.
That's all.
Yep.
I think now is the time, and I think that window is open right now, and I think that needs to happen imminently for the fans, for us, and again, for the hockey community to say, oh, okay, things are okay, so that we can stop the narrative of this team is leaving. Yep,
exactly. So much more to unravel. This is a very layered discussion.
Do you get worried when Saul's in here? Do you get a little nervous? See, because we're just talking about, so our general manager, we're talking about general managers. Our general manager is here in our office. And this kind of puts the Shane Doan thing into perspective, because as you may not know, or you might know, I want to be a GM at a digital medium company. And unfortunately, we already have one. So if I leave, are we all mad at Saul? No, because Saul's got the job. It's his job. If I want to do his job, I got to go somewhere else. Sorry.
What's up?
I only come on when I feel like it needs to be said that I got you some more Four Peaks. That's all.
Oh,
Let's
buddy.
Go.
Cheers. Today. Cheers.
That was the only reason.
We literally opened the fridge this morning because we were like, this is a Four Peaks day.
How many bosses come into your office and said, just want to let you know we got more beer. Like literally. That is the best news of the day.
The fridge will be restocked on Monday.
Let's go.
Let's
That's
go.
That's the kind of good news we needed today.
That's the community of PHNX on a Friday. Thanks, Saul. He
Saul.
does still intimidate the shit out of me.
Well, cheers. We're drinking. I'm drinking the Suns Brew. You're drinking the Kilt Lifter. There were literally 4 Kilt Lifters left in the fridge.
Yeah. Can you believe going to your job and complaining that there's not enough beer in the fridge?
Yeah,
That's awful.
We go through beer very
so
quick.
Bad.
Check out Four Peaks. I mean, it's clear how much we love Four Peaks beer. And if you haven't tried or you love it, you can buy Four Peaks wherever you buy your beer. You can also check out the 8th Street Pub, which they have great food as well and tons of different beers on tap. You can check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. You must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and please drink responsibly. You know, there's been a lot of drama with the Coyotes over the last 4 weeks. I want to read this comment from Nicholas from like the very start. This is really funny. He said, "Is there something stronger than therapy? Because whatever that is, we need it after what we've gone through the last 4 weeks." No, but at least we can drink while we talk about it.
Yes.
A team that only has good drama, I guess, going for them right now is the D-backs, and they've been very entertaining to watch.
Is it a coincidence that their success coincides with our producer Sean
joining their show?
I
don't know. Maybe Sean, you need to bring the good vibes to the Coyotes.
All I'm saying is that the first day I was on the show, Corbin Carroll hit a walk-off win, and it was the first walk-off not of his MLB career, but his entire baseball career.
Get out of here!
This man is one of the best players in all of baseball.
Coincidence?
So we need those vibes on Coyotes. But if you're wondering where the heck can I watch the D-backs, because I know some people struggle, they can't find Bally on their streaming platform, Fubo TV. They carry Bally Sports.
Do they?
Yeah. So if you're like, where the heck should I watch them? Check out Fubo. They have 140 plus live channels of sports shows, movies, and news. 1,000 hours of cloud DVR at no extra charge. You can watch live on any one of your devices. Watch the D-backs on Bally with Fubo TV. Use the link in the description to sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro.
And they also sponsor our Cardinals show with the theme "FU Bo." Sorry, Bo.
Oy, oy, oy.
You know.
All right. I want to talk more about maybe the not so good about this. I think we've been like pretty positive defending the situation, which it generally is our stance. Yes. But there are a couple things, because we keep saying there's not a job for him here, so he's getting a job elsewhere. But it begs the question, should there be a job for Shane Doan here?
See, here's the difficult part. And I think this happens, and people at their jobs sitting right now listening to this happens to people that stay in a job for a long time. You get pigeonholed as this is what you are. This is who you are. Example, I was the video guy for 20 years in Arizona. I was the video guy. And if you thought about being a coach or you thought about doing something else on it, they thought, well, you're just a video guy. You know what I mean? I think this is not uncommon in the world of business that you become what you are at your job. And it takes someone from the outside you need to leave to grow. I think what happened here with Shane is his role became the figurehead. He became the guy that would go to the cocktail party and shake hands with the politicians. I think he was the guy that if you needed somebody to cut the ribbon at the Fry's grocery store in Tempe or Ahwatukee, it's Shane Doan. If you need somebody to go on TV to talk about the Coyotes, it was Shane Doan. I think people recognize him as the face of the franchise, even though he had stopped playing years ago. He was still the guy. And unfortunately, I think it became more of his perception was that's what he is. He is the good guy. He's the ambassador, as it were, as opposed to, gosh, maybe he can make hockey decisions and trades, and maybe he can help build a hockey team. I think his perception was more, he's the hospitality host, and he needed to shake that, and to shake that, he needed to leave. So I wish there was a chance here. I thought with his success with Hockey Canada, and you look at the most renowned international federation in the world of hockey is Hockey Canada, with their success at the Olympics and World Championships and on and on and on. And his being responsible for building some of those teams, I thought that would help sway the perception of what he can be in a hockey operations department. Unfortunately, it didn't. Yeah. And I still wish this today was about him becoming president of hockey operations of the Arizona Coyotes. I wish it was assistant general manager of the Arizona Coyotes, but it isn't.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I wish it were so. I want to leave with, I do understand from Bill Armstrong's perspective why that's not happening.
Yeah.
I really do. This is a war out there. And if you've got to go into war with people you know and you trust, and you can really go into that foxhole and look at the guy next to you and go, okay, here's what we're doing together. And if you don't have that, it starts problems right at the top. So I understand why this marriage may not work with Bill and Shane and that communication. So I get it from both sides. From the outside, I wish that in the final movie script in Hollywood, that this is how it would have ended up, that Shane Doan was working for the organization.
And from Shane Doan's perspective, you have to imagine you're trying to create that reputation for yourself, that reputation that he's been working so hard with his Team Canada roles to establish himself as somebody who can do those things. And to then just be, again, it comes back to the Coyotes not having a role, so fair, but to just be, continuously just, his role was face of the franchise, essentially.
Sure.
His title was Chief Hockey Development Officer. Right. His role is face of the franchise. He is speaking at Tempe Wins events up until now. Years ago, he was the one with the shovel in the ground at Los Arcos, at Los Arcos or Tempe. I don't even remember anymore. He, again and again and again and again, for 21 years as a player, for all the years of his post-playing career, he has been at the forefront. He has led the charge. He has done everything. And to not then be, I guess, rewarded with what he actually wants, I can understand how that's frustrating. Sure. And on the flip side, like you said, I can understand how the organization would say, well, we just don't have that position that you want right now. And we're not just going to make it just because you're Shane Doan. That's something that fans can have an opinion about, because maybe they should, because he is Shane Doan. But he's then the losses, he's leaving the organization to go somewhere else. I'm glad that he is making this move for himself to further his career, because he's done so much for the Coyotes. He doesn't have to keep doing it if he doesn't want to. And if he is ready to further his career, then he should do that, in my opinion.
I'm not going to be a hypocrite on this show. I sat on last week's show when Brad Treliving got hired by the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I talked about the president of hockey operations of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Brendan Shanahan. By the way, do you know who Brendan Shanahan did not play for?
The Toronto Maple Leafs?
The Toronto Maple Leafs. So let's start off with that. He wasn't a legendary Toronto Maple Leaf player. He's a Red Wing and a Devil. I mean, that's Brendan Shanahan. But he's the president of hockey operations. But last week on the show, I said a general manager doesn't need that guy. They don't need two guys in that same role. Where's the buck stop? Who talks to the ownership? What does that role really mean? It's a figurehead and blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to sit here today and say, well, they should have made Shane Doan the president, because I just got done last week saying they don't need a president. Team should have a general manager. The Arizona Coyotes have one. It's not Shane Doan. We've put our trust in Bill Armstrong. We've said it over and over again. We've talked about his drafts, his trades. Let's see where this plays out. I'm not saying there isn't a time when Shane Doan is not the general manager of the Arizona Coyotes. I absolutely could see that's a possibility in that happening. But he needed to do this first to make that happen. It's Stevie Yzerman. Stevie Yzerman had to go to Tampa.
It's a perfect example.
It's a perfect example. There was no job for him in Detroit. So he was offered a job in Minnesota and went to Tampa. Started all the things, wonderful things they did in Tampa, built the experience, and I was back in Detroit. There's nothing saying he can't come back here and do that. It's just not now. That's it. First of all, we're spending a lot of time talking about it because Shane Doan deserves that. What he's put into this franchise, this city, this organization, this team, he could have left this team dozens of times. As a player, every time the trade deadline come up, Shane Doan could have left. He didn't. Because he's loyal to the franchise, he's loyal to the city, he's loyal to the community and the hockey fans here, and he will continue to do that. I promise he will. He is not abandoning the state of Arizona. He is still a Coyote at heart, period. That doesn't change with any of this. It is just unfortunate we're not announcing him with his new role of the Coyotes. But we need to move on past it. And we're spending a lot of time talking about this today. But after this, good luck to Shane Doan, except for the 2 nights that the Toronto Maple Leafs play the Coyotes, and I hope they kick their ass again.
Continue that streak.
If history, by the way, if DP has the banner anywhere near handy,
it's always ready.
They have not lost to Toronto in a very long time, and I don't think, Shane, that this changes with the new hire. So I know we're going around in circles a little bit, but I want Coyote people, and more importantly, I want people outside of the Coyote bubble to go, this isn't about the franchise falling apart. This is about Shane Doan growing as a hockey operations manager. This is an opportunity for him to become better. I don't recall, and I don't live in Detroit, I don't recall this kind of backlash when Steve Yzerman went to Tampa. I don't remember this being, oh my God, the sky is falling. I just don't remember that. I don't want to see Shane leave. I'd like to consider myself a friend of Shane Doan, even though you don't answer texts, but we've already determined all that. I want to get Shane Doan on this show to talk about it. And I think we will at some point. I don't want to see him leave, but I think this is fantastic. I can't wait to see how they do. Toronto needs to have something positive happen. We've talked about it for years. It'd be great for hockey. Maybe this is what happens to get Toronto over. And you know what it is? It's a GM that worked where? Arizona. An assistant to the general manager that played for and came from
Arizona.
Their best player and leader and leading goal scorer is from
Arizona.
Do you see a connection here?
Yep.
If you're going to save,
they have to overcome the curse again. The Arizona
you left out
curse.
their exciting young prospect also for Arizona,
Matty Nice.
who showed up in the Stanley Cup
Nice
playoffs.
From?
Arizona.
So if you want to save the most storied franchise in hockey history and the center of the hockey universe, where do you turn? Arizona. Duh, figure it out. So now that they've got all of the Arizona pieces in place, this is finally the time where Toronto gets over the hump.
2 things. First of all, Nicholas, I was not trying to imply that Shane Doan said, I need a position or I'm out. I think it was just...
No, not at all.
He wanted a position and there wasn't one, so he left. It wasn't like a demand. It was. This is not a nasty breakup. This is amicable.
Remember 6 months ago, Shane Doan said to us here live in the studio, I'm going to take a step back. People came to him with this. Yeah. He was actually going to take a step back, and the organization was not thrilled about it, but they were understanding.
You can't say no to Toronto.
But people called him. He wasn't out with his resume going, hey. But when people started coming at him, then it goes, oh, okay, maybe this is something I want to pursue.
And then the last thing I would need to talk about is the reality of the fact, and this is not Shane Doan's fault, that the timing of this is very bad.
Yes.
The Coyotes are still searching for stability. They don't have it yet. We already talked about the need for it, and by no means do I think that Shane Doan shouldn't have pursued this opportunity right now, and that we're not talking about this today. But it does suck because he is the face of the franchise. He is that guy. I get how people would draw the conclusions. Oh, it's all like he knows something we don't. He's leaving. No, that has nothing to do with it. But we can still sit here and acknowledge that the timing of this is very shitty for where the franchise is.
Right.
I think this is happening whether the Tempe vote. If the Tempe vote passed, we're still sitting here talking about this today.
We are.
It does just suck because Shane Doan has been so at the forefront of fighting to keep this team here. Yes. I think I can say with confidence that he plays a huge role in the fact that the team is still here as much as Gary Bettman.
Sure.
So, yes, we are happy. We are pleased. This is positive for Doan, but we can also still acknowledge that this is bad timing and that the organization is still, I think, truthfully at fault for not speaking to the fans and laying out a plan.
Right. And that's the problem. And Robert Lee just said it too. He said it's not about Shane Doan, it's about the fans being pummeled for 10 years.
That's a great point, Robert.
1,000%. I said 1,000% twice. It's really only 100%. I did take math. But Robert, you're right. And that's the problem. It's always, it's the Coyotes. That's the way it goes. It's the Coyotes. This franchise needs, and that's why, again, I implore Alex Meruelo and Javier Gutierrez to come out with a statement on something.
Yep.
Tease us, tickle us a little bit. Like, what's the plan?
Whoa.
You don't have to give us the plan, but just let us know a plan exists. We need that validation now because of all of the things that this fan base has been through year after year after year after year. It's always, God, here it is again. It's the Arizona Coyotes way. And we used to say it inside the locker room, I don't know, you'd have to go back to the movie Moneyball.
Yep.
And when the Oakland guys are going up the pop machine, he wanted to get a pop, and he had to put money in. He goes, no, buddy, you got to put money in. And they go, welcome to Oakland. You know how many times we said in the locker room, welcome to Arizona? Like, it was a thing. Get past that. Get a new building. Do things right. Get players that are trying to win. Spend money to the cap. Try to win a Stanley Cup. Let's forget all this bullshit that we've been through for the last 20 years, and let's become a model franchise of what's happening in the southern United States, and we're seeing across the NHL in the southern hemisphere. Let's be one of those franchises, and I think this franchise can just find a home, and then all of this starts to become part of the past.
Last thing on this topic, and we're gonna so we took the tinfoil hats and we made them fashion. So it's tinfoil hat time.
And when if you are going to be a Coyote fan, and look at DP Rock, if you are going to be a Coyote fan, you need to understand that part of your life revolves around the tinfoil hat. It's just part of reality. So the Coyotes crew at PHNX now has made tinfoil hat fashion.
All right.
This tinfoil hat doesn't fit my big ass head.
It's okay. It's still on there. That's all that matters. All right. Here's what's happening. This is an inside job. Shane Doan has infiltrated the Toronto Maple Leafs organization in an effort to convince Austin Matthews to sign with the Arizona Coyotes in the future when everything's settled out. We have a tweet from Austin Matthews that dates August 30th, 2017.
And that's real, right?
Yes.
This is
a real tweet. My childhood idol growing up, amazing player and an even better person. Congratulations on an unbelievable career, Donor. This is Austin Matthews' idol. Let's appease Austin Matthews by bringing his childhood idol in. The Leafs think they're doing something great here by convincing him to stay, but what's really happening is that Doan is convincing him to leave. And in 10 years, when Doan is back in the organization,
yes,
and Austin Matthews is wearing a Kachina, and Matthew Nyes comes with him because he wants to play for his hometown team too, we'll all look back at this.
This is the reality of the situation. Shane Doan is going to Toronto undercover. He's got the Toronto jacket with Kachina underwear. He's really going there with, he is bringing Austin Matthews home. And the way to do it is to put his childhood hero and idol in the same room, on the same plane, in the same bus, in the same hotels, and convince him to come back to Arizona.
Who's not to say Treliving's not in on it too?
There's going to be lots of, damn, it wasn't this cold in Arizona. Just like little subtle, damn, the golf courses weren't this bad.
This is all the master plan by Gary Bettman.
It's the long game.
It's the long game.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Bigla said, please brand these with Cody and put them in the locker. We honestly need them.
Yeah, I love the tinfoil hat.
Oh, man. Anyway, that's what you get on PHNX. You get it all. And if you want to join our family, you can do so by becoming a diehard. Go phnx.com/diehard. Becoming a diehard, you get so many perks, 20% off merch, 20% off events. You get a Dobson Ranch card. You get a $50 voucher to Mountain Mike's. You get access to our Discord, which, by the way, boy, howdy.
Boy, and I will say this about the Discord.
Every day we talk about the Discord, but it's crazy.
I will say this about the Discord this morning. First of all, if you want to chat with me in the Discord, you have to get up really damn early because I'm in there between 5 and 6 a.m. So let's start with that. But the Discord this morning, buddy, Ogie, I'm starting to think Ogie Oglethorpe in our Discord might be Bill Armstrong. Like, buddy, he saves this much on the cap and this guy gets traded. Like, what? Like, how do you know that? Like, our Discord is full of very intelligent-minded hockey people that can go off the rails. But wow, if you want to talk about a community, you want to talk hockey, there's very few places to talk hockey in Arizona. Our Discord is one of them. Yep.
And speaking of discounts on merch and the phnxlocker.com, the Father's Day sale is happening now. From now until June 18th.
Jackson.
Buy one, get one half off
LFG.
All shirts and hats in the PHNX locker right now. Make sure you order by Monday so that they're delivered to Dad in time. But get in on this. What a deal. What a steal.
Buy one 50% off?
Yeah.
Get the dad hat. And I said this yesterday. Yeah. Dad hat on Father's Day. I have a dad hat.
Yeah, me too. So does Craig. Craig wears it on the show all the time. I actually have one too. I just don't wear hats on our show, but I do wear them.
His wig.
Out and about. So make sure you check out the PHNX Father's Day sale now, June 8th to the 18th. Buy one, get one half off all merch in the locker. And If you're also looking for a gift idea, Illegal Pete's gift card on Father's Day. Take your dad to Illegal Pete's.
Your dad will be happy.
Drink some margs. Eat some delicious food. Get the chips
Sunday,
and
right? There
queso.
should be some sports on a Sunday at Illegal Pete's.
Probably baseball at the very least.
Yeah.
There's sports on every day except 2 days of the whole year. You know what the 2 days are?
It's not Christmas because Christmas has basketball. I don't know.
The day before and after the MLB All-Star game.
Is that true?
Yep.
Look at you with a
Wow.
drop
I
of knowledge.
didn't even know that.
Really?
Yeah.
Leah dropping a little knowledge.
I guess if I thought about it long enough, maybe, but that's crazy. I never thought about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that.
Oh, man. Anyway, stop by Illegal Pete's this weekend, or you can stop by on a Monday for Margarita Monday, exclusive to Arizona locations, $3 margs all day, every Monday. Nothing brightens up that Monday mood more than soaking up the sun with a few margaritas. And don't forget about Taco Tuesday, $2 tacos all day, every Tuesday. Enjoy your favorite chicken, pork, and veggie tacos for just $2. Swing by and start your week off the right way at Illegal Pete's. Brian said, I really like all your due diligence and hard work that you put into your podcast. Brian, thank you so much for that comment. It really means a lot. Is there anything else you want to say about Shane Doan, or should we move on to
really
something
quick,
else?
really quick.
Okay.
One sentence. I'm going to talk. I wore my Josh Doan t-shirt today, the homegrown Josh Doan. Just as a reminder, Josh Doan is an Arizona kid, trained here, went to school here, played in Tucson, and hopes to play for the Coyotes some days. He is homegrown in Arizona. He's not leaving Arizona. Everybody take a deep breath. There's still a Doan representation here, and Shane will always come back to see his son Josh play. Yep. So does this affect him? No. Oh,
and I also just have one more thing to say. On a personal level, I've been a fan of this team for a long time, since 2005. I've always looked up to Shane Doan. I think most Coyotes fans hold him at the highest regard. And getting into this line of work 2 years ago and getting to actually see Shane Doan around the rink and meet him multiple times, what an unbelievable guy. So good to me. Like, recognize me, addressing me by name at the draft in Montreal. Like, he's so sought after, especially in Arizona, and just to take the time out of his day to have positive interactions with those around him. Like, what a stand-up guy. And I feel very blessed that I got to experience that for a couple years. And I'm sad to see that go, because I will miss that.
I almost teared up a little bit. And this is, no, I'm not kidding. When I forgot about the human side of this. Shane Doan was a really close friend for a long time for me. I lost my job here with this franchise, and it was a really hard time for me. And one of the first people to pick up the phone and call me was Shane Doan. And we spent a lot of time over the next 6 months talking. And I've told him this to his face, he changed my life. And he on how to look at life and how to look at the world around you and his perspective on things. And I am not sitting here at PHNX right now without the encouragement that Shane Doan as a human being gave me, not as a hockey player, not as a Ring of Honor guy, but as a human being. That's why I know he'll always be successful, because everybody talks about what he is as a person. It is absolutely true. That's important first. And you see that when he's with his family and with his friends. His family and friends matter. And without you, Shane, I'm not here. So thank you for everything you did for me personally. And I can't wait to have him back on our show. And I know he will be here in the summer before we get going again. Because I think we at PHNX need to give him a proper thank you for everything you've done, and wish him luck in the future. Thanks.
Very well said. All right. It's going to be hard to shift gears, but we do have one final
we have to talk about something else.
Because we said yesterday that once a day we're going to do a prospect spotlight
we got to know
until
these
the
names.
draft. We have just under 3 weeks to go. Yesterday we talked about Ryan Leonard. If you missed it, the conversation is posted on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. But today we are going to talk about someone I feel like we haven't talked about a lot. We talked about him early on, but not much lately, and that is Dalibor Dvorsky. So, what do we know about him?
Well, Dalibor Dvorsky, here's the interesting. This is a guy whose stock's risen a lot over the last 18 months. And his performance at both the Hlinka under 18, where he was considered by many to be the best player on the Slovakian team. He was on the World Junior team when the World Juniors got canceled. He plays with men in the Swedish Elite League right now, playing as a centerman. He is an all-around 200-foot centerman. And when you look at this draft, you look at players like Leo Carlson, and we talk about Connor Bedard all the time, that are flashy and unbelievable offensive players. Dalibor Dvorsky is probably a more well-rounded 200-foot player that can also defend. His hockey IQ is extremely high. He can help on the offensive side of the puck, but the one knock on him right now is he may not have that elite skating, that powerful burst of skating stride. That might be something he needs to work on because he's playing as a centerman right now, and because of his skating, he may end up being a wing in the National Hockey League. But he's a name people need to know because everybody I've talked to, and I'll be honest, I've just seen highlights of the kid. So it's not fair for me to have an opinion. I have to go trust the opinion of others. His stock has risen because of what he has done over the last year and playing with men, and he will be an NHL player. And I've also heard from multiple sources this kid is going to go in the top 10. So with the Coyotes picking at 6, Dalibor Dvorsky from Slovakia playing in Sweden is a name you need to know.
Yep. And as always, we turn to the draft experts. Chris Peter said he's a versatile center who takes care of his details off the puck. His value is most tied to his ability to score. Corey Proman has him projected as a bubble top and middle of the lineup player. His player comparable would be Ryan Strome, and he's dangerous inside the offensive zone. Excellent puck skills in small areas. So yeah, like you said, he'll be a top end NHL player and very, very well could go to the Coyotes at 6.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, and when I had asked if this is a player that will be there at 12 for the Coyotes, everybody said no. He won't be there. He's so well thought of and how quickly he moved up in the rankings over the last year that he won't be there at 12. But we've seen this in drafts before. Things change. Like Shane Wright fell to 4 last year. Like, so if this is a player, I don't know. I don't personally believe the Coyotes are taking him at 6. I don't have any inside information. Just my gut feeling is he's not. But if he does, he's a guy, we've said this before, they need to sprinkle this lineup with guys that fill different roles. I think he's going to be a left winger in the National Hockey League. I think he's got an incredible shot think of Dylan Guenther with a little more size with that shot and his ability to shoot from that right-hand circle off of the power play. Elite shot. Like, he can beat goalies clean with his wrist shot. I see him on the left side, and he might be a second or third line left winger, and that's okay. If he plays 800 to 1,000 games for your franchise and helps you win a cup, you're going to love Dalibor Dvorsky. So I think the upside of him is huge. He's going to be a 200-foot guy. He's going to kill penalties. He'll be gone early in this draft, but there's a chance a player like this could slip to 12. I don't see him going to the Coyotes at 6. I'm still hopeful, and I'll bring up the name.
To 12?
Yeah, and I like Ryan Leonard a lot. Yeah. Like, I'm hopeful.
We talked about him yesterday.
Ryan Leonard's there, but if Dalibor Dvorsky becomes an Arizona Coyote, I think this is another player that's going to slot in and help fill out the roster.
Absolutely. So we're going to carry on our prospect spotlights daily. If there's a guy you want us to talk about specifically, and we're specifically doing guys that are ranked in the 5 to 20 range. We're not talking about Bedard. We're not talking about Fantilli because that's just not realistic for the Coyotes. Let us know. Someone in our Discord wanted us to talk about Dvorsky, and we had already decided we were going to before we saw that. But we definitely want to hear from you. So let us know on Twitter and in the Discord.
And the big thing with these prospects, Leah and I are not scouting experts. We're not sitting here going, gosh, listen to our rankings, because we don't have them.
We don't have rankings.
We don't watch the players. What we want to do is, by the time that we're hungover, at the draft in Nashville, that you've heard of these names, so that when Bill Armstrong and their nicely attired Coyote staff goes to the podium in Nashville, that you go, oh, I've heard of that guy. I've heard of Ryan Leonard, but Dalibor Dvorsky. That, okay, now they're starting to become everyday names, because we've talked about Connor Bedard, Leo Carlson, Fantilli. We've talked about those names. Everybody knows those names. So who are the guys from 5 to 20? We're going to keep giving you those names every day, so that when Bill Armstrong gets to the podium and announces the name, you go, God, I've heard of that guy.
Yep.
And Dalibor Dvorsky and Ryan Leonard are the first 2 that are on our list. And if they get these guys and they're Coyotes, it's a good day.
Absolutely. Listen, I know it's been a stressful 24 hours for everyone. In fact, it's been a stressful 4 weeks for everyone. It's a Friday. When you get home from work, sit on your couch, put your feet up, and take an OGs. I think we all need it.
It is an OGs weekend.
If you're 21 or older.
Responsibly.
Yeah.
It is an OGs weekend.
It is an OGs weekend. It really feels like that. If you need help getting asleep, check out their Aquaberry Sleep Edition gummy. If you want a happy balance, check out their Strawberries and Cream CBD THC 1-to-1 ratio gummy. If you're just getting your feet wet with OGs, then try the Microdose gummy. And not only that, They have amazing flavors: watermelon, red apple, peach, blackberries and cream, orange creamsicle, peaches and cream. And we're just a few weeks away from pink lemonade dropping on June 21st.
Summertime.
Yeah.
What's better than little pink lemonade gummy?
And OGs, they're locally scratch made. So we love local. Check out OGs online at ogsbrands.com and on Instagram at ogsbrands. You can also find their products at your local dispensary. Must be 21 or older to purchase. If you're also looking for a way to maybe take your mind off of all the stuff going on and you're just looking for a day of fun, head on over to Octane Raceway and Mavericks.
Don't do OGs first.
Do not do OGs first, but what a fun place. So much to do.
It's a hidden gem.
And it's fun for everyone, whether you're 5 years old or 55 years old. It is fun. We've all been there.
And it brings you back to being a kid again. And I've said it every time we talk about Mavericks in the Raceway is how fast those cars go.
Yeah, they do.
Buddy.
Yep.
Yeah. And who got third?
You.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who didn't? Craig was looking for his turn signal. Craig was awful at that shit.
Craig didn't drive.
He's like this.
No.
I know. He's the
one standing on the sidelines.
Yeah,
with
slow down, you kids.
Oh my goodness. And for kids 15 and under, free bowling all summer. So check that out. You can book some fun this spring at Octane Raceway and Mavericks. Kart racing, virtual reality, laser tag, axe throwing, bowling, arcade, great food and drinks, tons of different events throughout the summer. Check out octaneraceway.com and mavericks.com to learn more. Anything else?
Yeah, I know it's the weekend and we're trying to get out of here because Betts has to go. We always have to clear the studio, which is kind of good. I know we don't have time for a regular weekend binge, but I'm going to beat the BritBox drum.
Oh my God.
Again, I've got a new show.
We need Max to get them as a sponsor of the show.
Vera. The show is called Vera.
Okay.
She is a 60-something detective in the British police. And I'm telling you, it's an hour-and-a-half thrill ride every episode. It's like a movie every episode. They're dark. They're gritty. Vera.
All right.
I'm a huge fan of Vera, and I want somebody in the Discord to say they got BritBox. Like, do the 7-day free trial and do Karen Peary and Vera and say you don't like it.
I got nothing for weekend binge.
That's okay. We
Yeah.
we got some plans. We gotta talk about all those reality shows, but that's another thing.
I don't know if you know this or have seen it, but The Weeknd has a new TV show.
He does, The Idol.
Is that Johnny Depp's daughter? Yeah. So The Idol and Johnny Depp's daughter.
You haven't seen it?
Very, very interested because
you see the trailer and you're like,
a guy like The Weeknd, the creative freedom that HBO gives you.
But he's almost a little creepy in the trailer.
He's kind of a weird.
He's kind of a weird guy.
He gives a lot of
but it looks
Michael Jackson vibes in some ways.
Did you see The Crowded Room with Tom Holland? The trailer on Apple?
No, but
buddy, it's a true story. Tom Holland,
yes.
Spider-Man, that guy. I always want to do that. It's so cool when they do that. But did you go watch the Crowded House trailer? It's a true story, and Tom Holland came out yesterday.
Oh, he's taking a year off of acting
because of that role.
Yeah.
Messed him up.
Yeah.
He said he's messed up and he has to step away because he's so disturbed.
Crazy.
So watch the trailer and you go,
I'm sold.
There you go.
I'm sold.
We do need to drink more on our job.
We do. Well,
congratulations, Stoner.
We'll continue to drink on the show next week, Monday through Friday, live at 11 a.m. every single day, 5 days a week of Coyotes talk every single day, no matter what.
And we sit there and go, there's nothing to talk about. But there is.
There's always something.
There's always something.
One more week until Craig gets back, so let's see if any other news breaks.
Yeah, I hope
so. We'll see. But everybody here in our YouTube chat, thank you so much for your comments. Please hit the like button on this video before you X out. And if you're listening on audio, please like and subscribe and leave us a review. You can follow each of us on Twitter at SPetersHockey, at Leah Merrill, at Sean_DePaz, I'm going out of order, and at Craig S. Morgan. You follow the show at PHNX_Coyotes. And of course, subscribe to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel so you never miss when we go live. Have a great rest of your Friday, everyone. Have a great weekend, and we will see everybody on Monday.